National Liquor Traders Association convener Ntimane joins us now to discuss the issue of safety at liquor outlets. Ntimane, thank you so much for your time and for joining us. Maybe just let's perhaps start with the Liquor Traders Association, your initial response to this very violent crime.
It's a sad one. We don't get used to this, even though it happens in our establishments. It has become an occurrence that we now are familiar with. It's worrying because it puts our training environment and our ability to feed our families on the spotlight. But maybe firstly, let me send our heartfelt condolences to the families that have lost their loved ones in this heinous crime, and also wish those that are injured speedy recovery. This should not happen. You know, a tavern should be a place where people enjoy themselves. And as we understand it, and we're grateful to the Deputy Provincial Commissioner, General Kekana, for having updated us on this issue, and also confirming that the establishment was indeed licensed, and it was operating within the prescribed times. So, you know, people left their homes wanting to enjoy themselves, and they'll return in coffins. It's unacceptable. We depend on this type of businesses to put food on our table. And the festive season, it's a welcome reprieve for us to earn that extra buck because it's heightened season. That's where we sell more of the alcohol. So now, instead of focusing on doing what we exist for, to sell alcohol to those that are of the right age, we now must be scared that someone might come into our establishment and kill us. We had an issue, I think, 2 weeks ago in Salisbury, even though it was in an establishment that was not licensed, but people lost their lives nonetheless. Yeah. And now we have this, now what's next? It's a very concerning issue for us, and it's scary. It
certainly is. I mean, even when we were speaking before, that 12 gunmen all got together and decided to have such a heinous crime committed in the early hours of the morning. Maybe when we speak, I mean, you speak about the tavern being licensed. It was operating within licensing hours. That was at 1 o'clock this morning. Are there specifications for taverns when it comes to safety measures? With maybe how many people are allowed in a certain space and how many security officers one should have. Are those in place for taverns?
So if you look at a tavern, so a tavern by its very definition is an establishment that exists in our township.
Yeah.
So it's a small, medium enterprise. Generally, you'll have maybe between 3 and 5 employees, if you include the owner. So it's a fairly small business enterprise. If you have security, you'll most likely have a security over a weekend, but that will not be an armed guard. So it will be just someone who ensures that there's the right movement of people, and that people that are under the age of 18 are not allowed inside, and that those that are intoxicated are ushered safely home. So we do not have the budgets that can prevent people coming into our establishments with guns. We will have security like most taverns have, but it's not enough to stand guard against someone who comes in with a firearm, for example. So that's what worries us, because it means that we're sitting ducks, ready to be attacked at any time. And I'm sure any liquor trader who wakes up this morning to this news is now wondering whether my outlet will be targeted next, because we don't know. We have never actually gotten any reason of the past shootings that have taken place in taverns. We don't know the reasons behind. Yeah. Are taverns under attack, or is this a spillover of what happens in a community then shifting into a social space, which taverns are? We don't know. So it's a scary thing for us. Does closing early represent an opportunity for us to be safe? We don't think so, because some of the shootings do not occur at midnight. Some happen early. So it's a tough one for us. We appreciate the relationship that we have with police across the country, but we cannot prevent this, it will seem. We can only react, and that's a concerning issue for us.
And I mean, based on that, in trying to find preventative measures and preventative ways, should there not be then conversations with communities, with the police, with maybe a multidisciplinary of agencies where you are able to give some kind of security for these tavern operators. If you're saying now that one tavern operator might be thinking, I could be next, what if I'm not opening? And that impacts on their livelihood.
Yeah, certainly. So because taverns are part of the ecosystem of a community, so we'll rely on the intelligence, conversations that take place in the community that will maybe give rise to us understanding that maybe a tavern might be targeted. We do not think that taverns per se are targeted, but because taverns form part of a social space in our communities, if you're looking for someone, the best place to find them is at the tavern, because we don't have a lot of spaces for social cohesion in our townships. So, unfortunately, the spillover of the violence that we see in our communities will then take effect in the tavern environment. So it's not something that we as tavern owners, for example, can prevent. But we understand that fighting crime is a community initiative, working closely with community policing forums as well as police. But it's a tough one. We can't sit here and say we might have a silver bullet to address this issue, and we don't.
Yeah.
We don't have a solution on how to stop this.
I mean, we spoke to Gun-Free Society a little earlier on, and they made mention of 80 mass shootings that has happened in a very short space of time, and there seems to be an increase of this, and a lot of it being around organized crime, like you say. Many of the shootings seems like a spill over from what's happening already within communities. But we're seeing a lot of tavern shootings over the past couple of years, over the past couple of weeks and months. There was Sawsville, there was Bronkhorstspruit, there was Davidton. Have there been conversations after those shootings with authorities to try and find what the underlying factors to those were, and maybe that could help us with future incidences? So
we have conversations. So fortunately, those incidents that we've highlighted have occurred within the precinct of Gauteng. So we had engaged with the Provincial Commissioner, General Ntimane, around those issues. But it seems to stem from criminality. It's just pure criminality. So taverns find themselves in an unfortunate situation that they are social spaces for our communities. So people in the township either go to a sports field, they go to a tavern, they go to a stockfell, or they go to a place of worship. So in this instance, the taverns, because they operate till late, then they land themselves into situations where people are going to congregate at such a place to have fun, and then they become sitting ducks, as it were, in the case with the Bakerstar. Yeah. So it's not something that could be prevented beforehand. And I mean, I think for taverns to put measures in place security-wise, it would cost them more than what they sell. It's just not feasible for us to have armed guards at our establishment. It's not feasible at all.
Sure, that's quite concerning. Lucky, thank you so much for your time. We certainly need a multidisciplinary approach